Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley. With me, as always, from Pigtown Sports, he is Zach Moore. I believe that on my end, my screen just froze again. I'm going to keep talking, though, because I think last time that happened, you guys could still hear and see me. Today's show is brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Zach, apparently you, me, and everybody else we know was at the game today. Wish that the hometown boys could have done a little bit better for us. Kind of a lifeless effort today against the Red Sox. It felt like where, it was scoreless heading into the fifth, and then Kyle Bradish gives up an
0-2 home run of all things. We just lost you on the audio section. I don't know if you can hear me or not. But yeah, I mean,
I think an infielder's glove on a diving play followed by just seems like he seems to negate that one bad inning. Even against the Royals, he allowed 13 base runners in his last start against the Royals in 5 innings, or 5 1/3 innings, which is absolutely bananas to me. 13 base runners, but only gave up the 1 run. And in this start, again, gets himself into a little bit of trouble, gives up a bunch of two-strike base hits today, and the Orioles ended up worse for the wear because of it. Not to mention the fact facing a lefty, Connolly Early, who having a great season for the Boston Red Sox, having a great season. He shut him down. Aside from a Gunnar Henderson and Samuel Basallo home run, they couldn't do anything off of him. Gunnar gets another RBI single in the 8th inning. At that point, it was too little, too late. Orioles lose the ball game 5-3. And what's even more confounding about this is that they start the series with their best offensive output of the year. 6 home runs, 20 hits. They win that game 10-3. They lose yesterday 17-1. The Red Sox fire their entire coaching staff, including long-term manager Alex Cora. And then the Red Sox come out and the Orioles fall flat on their face against them today, losing 5-3 in front of a pretty packed house, especially for a chilly Sunday afternoon. What is the deal with this team right now?
They can't put anybody away on the mound. They're getting to an 0-2 count or 1-2, 2-2 count pretty quickly, and just nothing is working. I put out a heat map earlier. They've given up 21 hits so far this year, second most in the league with an 0-2 count. It's brutal, honestly. They've given up 104 hits this year with 2 strikes, which is third most. Third or fourth. I can't remember exactly what it is. Just nothing's working. And I don't know if that's pitch call sequence. I don't know if it's just location. Obviously, it's location. I mean, when you look at their heat map, most of their 2-strike hits are coming dead in the center of the plate. I don't know who taught these guys that throwing the ball with 2 strikes in the middle of the plate is going to be effective. It's not. It's usually not at any point. Doesn't matter the count. I just don't know. It's the command from these guys this year just isn't there. I mean, we're talking like Kyle Bradish has never been a guy who's like really had a ton of command, but he's been throwing the ball in his career well enough, to get guys chase out of the zone and stuff like that. Trevor Rogers, same thing. He's actually, over his last 300 pitches, has the second most swing and miss chases in all of baseball. But he can't put a guy away with 2 strikes. Mm-hmm. So I really don't know, Paul. I mean, we've known the offense's inconsistencies all season. I don't think that's changing at this point. We've seen enough. I mean, it baffles me, honestly. You got Pete Alonso, you've got Taylor Ward, who actually is doing better here, average-wise and doubles-wise, but not power. Pete Alonso, who's had a very successful career, just looked lost here. Gunnar Henderson right now, lost. I love Gunnar. He's one of the better players that come through here in a long time. He's hurting this team right now. There's no sugarcoating that. He's downright. It's borderline pathetic at this point. Cooley hits a couple home runs here and there. What have them? I think 5 of them have been solos. It's not helping the team enough. Right. I don't know. It's just one thing after the other. We knew the defense was going to be a problem. Defense today Gunnar, easy double play, kind of bobbles it for a second. Duran beats it out. 2-run home run, next pitch. Like, it's the little things that matter, man. I mean, a ball kind of it was hit hard to Jeremiah Jackson, but he fumbled it a little bit. It's weird. It's weird. It's not Orioles baseball. We heard they were going to fly different. I think they're taking fly different to a whole new level of just not doing anything fundamentally correct.
And that's the thing. They kept trying to, because you like when you're at a ball game with your wife and your daughter, like I was today. Like you're in the concessions area a lot. Mm-hmm. So I'm hearing every time I'm in the concessions area, I'm hearing, Ben and Kevin Brown talking about how great the Orioles defense has been today and the plays that they've made. The error by Gunner, the error by Jeremiah Jackson on a ground ball by Duran, a hard ground ball by Duran. It should have been a double play to get out of the inning. Yep. And he has this lazy feed to Gunner at second base. They get the force out, but they don't get the runner at first base to extend an inning. Taylor Ward goes after a fly ball in left field, and he's looking over his left shoulder, and the ball is 2 feet to his right. He tries to turn around to catch it, and he falls on his ass. It's embarrassing how bad this team is defensively. And then for Craig Alvarez to come out after the game and insult all of us by saying, I think our outfield defense has actually been really good. Who are you watching to say that? Who are you watching to say that?
I mean, look, if Taylor Ward was hitting 6-7 home runs right now while still hitting 270, 280, I think we'd be okay with it. Like, I think we're still slightly okay with it because he's probably the best player on the team right now and is generating the most traffic on the base paths. Dylan Beavers, not a center fielder. That whole experiment thing, I don't understand why they keep kind of pushing that. Like, I understand maybe he's probably long-term a better hitter than maybe Cowser, but it just ain't working. It's not pretty, and it's not going to get pretty. You either know how to track a fly ball or you don't. Dylan Beavers does not know how to track a fly ball, and I hate to even admit that. It's not even pretty in the corner. Like, it's acceptable. It's not pretty. Good outfielder. Look at Cedame Rafaela. Everything he does it's pretty. It's easy. I'm watching that ball was hit out to Beavers. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, that Rafaela probably runs that down. I mean, granted, he's one of the better in the game. Cowser probably gets a little closer. Mullins maybe makes the catch. I don't know. I really don't know. But it just didn't look pretty from Beavers. And I don't get it. The guy doesn't take a great first step. You can get away with that in the corner, but you can't get away with that in center field.
Well, they completely ignored their outfield this offseason. We were beating every drum that we could for Cody Bellinger. We were talking about Harrison Bader. There were opportunities. At this point, I look at this team and I think, are they going to be able to make a trade to bring in an actual outfielder? Tyler O'Neill, hell of a throw today. I don't need the let's flip over our own heels to make this throw. Like that's for entertainment purposes only. But a hell of a play by Blaze Alexander to keep the tag on. Because that was like a lightning quick moment that he came off the bag, and the umpire somehow managed to see it and called the guy out. Like, I still couldn't really tell on replay. I was in the stadium, like, looking at, like, I couldn't tell on replay, but he was out, to the point where they didn't even want to challenge it. So, like, but other than that, the defense has been terrible. Leody Taveras is probably your best center fielder. Play him every day.
Yeah.
Put him in center field.
Switch hitter. Why would he not be in a lineup against lefty?
Kobe Mayo homered in 3 straight games and then doubled yesterday as one of, like, the only 3 hits that they had the whole game. Yeah. And he doesn't play today against the lefty. You have Blaze. Right. Blaze Alexander has a 389 OPS.
When was the last time he got a hit?
I don't know.
I think it's been about 10 games, hasn't it?
He smoked that ball hard as hell at third base in his first at bat, and I was like, that's the hardest ball he's hit in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like Blaze Alexander.
He went 0 for today, right?
He's Ryan McKenna, except that Blaze
he
got pinch hit for by the worst hitter on the team, Colton Cowser.
What did he go today? 0 for 3? 0 for 2? Either way.
0 for 2 or 0 for 3.
If he went 0 for 2, he's 2 for 25 in his last 10 games. 2 for 25.
Yeah. He's playing pretty regularly. too.
Which is
But
crazy
they always
because,
hit
like,
format.
I knew plenty of people that went down to spring training. I couldn't get down there myself, but like plenty of people that I've known that went down and watched and just flat out said, this dude Blaze can hit. Like, he's on the backfield, he's dropping 450-foot bombs. Like, I grant it's spring training, I get it, but you're doing it against your own team too. So you're facing major league hitters, and they were like, the bat speed is great. You know, just the ball coming off the bat, it's just loud. And now it's like, where's any of that?
Well, and maybe because he's a utility fielder, he's a utility player, we're more inclined to say, well, this is who he is. You know, like I could not stand Ryan McKenna. And to me, they're the same player. Nice looking guys with great hair that look like they should be ball players. They're athletic as hell and they can't hit worth a lick.
Yeah.
But maybe he can. Pete Alonso, we know, can hit, and he looks awful. Like, to the point where I'm pissed off that Pete Alonso is an Oriole right now, because he's like we're the Mets fans, right? And I know it's in the terms of games still count in April as much as they do in August and September. That is 100% true. But we also know that Pete's going to hit. We know that Gunner's going to hit. We know that Ward's going to start to. We know that Ward's going to develop that power again. By the way, Taylor Ward has been on base more than anybody in baseball not named Yordano Alvaro. Alvarez. Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah.
Like, Yordan Alvarez, the only other player in baseball that's been on base more than Taylor Ward.
Yeah.
The home runs aren't there. Fine, he's getting on base, and he's hitting leadoff, and he's getting on base. I'm totally cool with it. I think he has, going into today, I think he had 20 walks compared to 19 strikeouts, or going into yesterday. And he still leads the majors in doubles. I'm good with what he's doing. Yeah, would I like to see more home runs? Absolutely. But whatever.
If he hits 20 this year, I'm happy.
Yeah.
If he's doing what he's doing and hits 20, who cares?
Alonso has 3 home runs and like 3 doubles. He's not doing jack shit. So
he's
like
also hitting 200.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think the offense is so bad. I hate to put it squarely on one person's shoulders, but I think it's 100% Pete Alonso's fault.
Yeah.
I like, you look at that lineup. They had 5 players with 3 hits on Friday night. 3 players with 4 hits. I think it was Beavers, Rutschman, and was it Basallo that also had 4?
Ward.
Oh, and Ward, right. Yeah. And Basallo had 3 hits.
Yep.
You had 6 home runs. You tallied 20 hits, and you only score 10 runs? If I told you the Orioles had 6 home runs and 20 hits in the game, how many runs would you think they scored? 15,
at least
16,
15.
17? Right. Yeah. They scored 10 runs. Alonso went 1 for 5 with runners on base almost every time. I think he left like 8 guys on by himself. Right? The team went 1 for 8, 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Until Alonso starts swinging, this lineup is going to keep falling flat on its face.
Yeah.
Because you've got Ward getting on base, and you've got Gunner striking out every other at bat, and every 2 games he'll hit a long home run and go 1 for 5. You know, you've got Rutschman hitting third when really he should be hitting behind Alonso at this point, in my opinion. But look at how hot Mayo's gotten with 3 home runs in his last 4 games. Look at Basallo, 9 for his last 16 with 2 home runs and 4 RBI in his last 5 games. Rutschman's tearing the cover off the ball. Ward's getting. That's 5 guys right there that are 4 guys right there that are getting on base and making things happen pretty regularly over the last week. And they're still not scoring runs because Gunner and Alonso aren't hitting. They aren't hitting, and as they go, this team goes.
Yeah, there's 129 eligible players right now with runners in scoring position, and I just lost it. God darn it. Gunner is ranked 107th at 174, and Pete is 116th at 152. It's pretty good, right?
In what now?
In runners in scoring position.
Like at this point, it can't be that he's on a new team, he's putting too much pressure on himself. Today is 1 month since opening day.
Yeah. Get
your head out of your ass and start swinging the bat.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this guy go up to the plate trying to uppercut 96-mile-an-hour fastballs at the letters. Good luck, dude. Good luck trying to uppercut something at 96 at the letters.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see him standing there and he's doing this thing with his shoulder, trying to keep his back shoulder up to try and have more of a level swing. It's not working, man.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah, there's 3 guys combined here. So you got Gunner, Pete, and Basallo. Basallo's the worst of all of them right now. They're 11 for 72 with runners in scoring position. 153.
Gunner has 2 hits all year with 2 strikes.
Yeah.
2 hits all year.
His eye right now, he has no clue the strike zone right now. None. I mean, he's never been able to dissect the outer half at all with 2 strikes ever. I mean, how many times did we watch him like throw the bat up, roll his eyes, and we're like, dude, that's on the corner.
Yeah.
Like that's not even a questionable pitch. And he's over here, acting all. He can't see that pitch, in my opinion. He can't see it.
Yeah. Now, if we notice this stuff, right? What are the coaches doing? Is it? I have to believe that the coaching staff is strong. From everything we talked about in the offseason, this coaching staff is strong.
Yeah.
So what's going? What are they not doing? What's happening here?
It's 9 different hitting coaches that can't figure these guys out.
Yeah.
At one point, maybe is it not the coach's fault?
Yeah. I mean that's true.
I mean, who wants to really come out and say that out loud? I don't think any of us really want to say that out loud. But it's been 9 hitting coaches.
Hey Jackson, I'm an Orioles guy, so I've never watched Pete Alonso play baseball before this year. I've seen him hit, but they don't show his at-bats from the very beginning in the highlights. So I'm not just saying things. I'm saying things that I noticed. You really want to piss me off? Say crap like that. I'm watching this guy hit, and I'm seeing him do that. I didn't notice it earlier in the year. So if that's something that he does, then fine, that's something that he does. But it's something that I noticed. I'm not just saying things, don't be a jackass. I am not in the mood to deal with bullshit right now, man. I am not. Like,
it's just
anyway.
I just don't get it. Like 9 coaches, 9, and I mean we kind of ridiculed a lot of them. Is it the philosophy? I don't know. I really don't know. Are they swinging up? I don't know. Are they swinging for the home run? It ain't working. If they are, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing though. Look at how much better Adley looks this year. Look at how
there's improvements around the roster in certain areas, but then there's like a giant fall off too. Like that's what I don't get. Like who would have expected Pete Alonso, who's had a good career, to fall off, and then Basallo, who looked promising, but he's got some things to learn. But I would call this kind of a fall off a little bit right now. He's swinging the bat better, I would say, the last 2-3 days. I don't think anybody expected Beavers to kind of struggle as much as he had, even though he is young. Gunner's, yeah. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just, it just looks lost. Preston, maybe, I don't know. But there's also positives. I mean, Taylor Ward has looked great. Adley has looked pretty good. Kowser's obviously fallen off. I know somebody is ready to say that somewhere. But there's been some positives and some bright spots. When Beavers has some good clutch hits with 2 outs, driving in runs, that they look great. And just nothing seems consistent at all, especially against like starting pitching. Their numbers against starting pitching is bottom 5 in every single category. Bottom 5. Why are you putting? I mean, look, starting pitchers are good in this league, and I really do get it. But back end of the bullpen guys are better. Like, you don't have any time to scout them. You're getting 100 basically. Like that's already hard to hit. Yes, starters, the ball moves a little bit more and stuff like that. But don't put yourself in a position where you have to try and catch up in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and that's all they're doing. Mm-hmm. But somehow they're still doing it well, but if you gave yourself a chance earlier in the game, 2 or 3 runs, like I think you win a lot more ball games, a lot more. And I think your pitching goes better if you just give them some run support.
The whole thing's just so damn frustrating.
I love this comment right here because I was going to get to this later. Kim just put it in here. Feels like teams have much better scouting reports on us than we have for other teams. I was going to say that today. I'm literally sitting there at the game with my mom, and I'm like, she asked me, she's like, what the hell's wrong with this team? And I said, it's like they know what we're doing and we don't. Like they're just teams are just on us. Like, and they're ready to pounce on 0-2 pitches. We're not. You know, we're not ready to pounce on that get me over fastball sometimes in the first pitch of an at bat. Like, I don't get it. Like, we see a lot of good flashes, and then we don't. And it's just the consistency. That's what I don't get. The consistency.
And
like, I think we all expected the defense to be a little inconsistent, and I think we kind of talked ourselves into being okay with that. I think we all really, really expected this offense to be really freaking good. And so did a lot of other people around baseball. And
that's why we were okay with the defense being shaky.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, all right, they'll catch the balls they're supposed to catch. They probably won't make the spectacular play, but they're going to score 6 runs a night on average. Right. So it's going to be fine, but they're not doing that. And it's funny because I said to my buddy was like, that was a great win on Friday night. He was like, that's their best game of the year. I think the offense is finally starting to turn the corner. I was like, they'll have 2 runs on 5 hits tomorrow. I was like, watch. And then they have 1 run on 4 or 5 hits. But I think it was 1 run on 4 hits on Saturday. They can't do it 2 games in a row. It's very frustrating to watch. And the weird thing is, it's been this way for a long time.
For 3 managers and 9 hitting coaches, like, what the hell at this point? Like,
it's been this way for 3 managers, 9 hitting coaches. Like,
you know, my mom asked me today because I told her that that was my exact words to her: 3 managers, 9 hitting coaches, and she looked me dead in the eye and go, "Is there a cancer in that clubhouse that we don't know about?" And I was like, She's like, really only consistent players are the core. She's like, is there a cancer? And I was like, I don't know.
All we hear is about the vibes in the clubhouse. Like, you did you hear Dean's interview during the game the other day when they worked the pitcher for like 35 pitches and 4 or 5 runs? It was he talking about how every person in that clubhouse is a good dude. For me, it's gotten to the point where now I'm sitting here like, how much of this is the front office? How much of this is Mike Elias and Sig Mejdal? How much is it they're making the lineups? They're telling Craig how to run the team and the things that they want. Do they need to go? Because that's the common denominator, right? Yeah. Like Gunnar is on pace to hit like 55 home runs, which is awesome, but not if he's hitting 197.
Right.
You know, so
55 home runs and he'll probably have like 71 RBIs.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I just feel like they're going out every night and it's the same lineup. It's the same thing. And look, the injuries are, you hate to keep saying, but they are a thing.
They are.
You know, the fact that you have Blaze Alexander playing third base, or center field or left field or right field, wherever they put him 3 to 5 times a week, that Jeremiah Jackson is your everyday second baseman right now, it should be Westberg and Holiday. But Holiday can't swing the bat without his wrist feeling it's about to snap.
Yeah.
You know, which I don't understand that either. So the whole thing is just doesn't make any sense to me that you have a lineup full of guys that either have all the talent in the world or have all the track record in the world, and you're not getting it done. And then you look at the starting rotation, and your starting rotation, Trevor Rogers was one of the best pitchers in baseball last year. For his last 3 starts, it looks like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
He's getting ahead too. That's the crazy part. Like, he almost every count 0-2, 1-2. I mean, it's quick. Kyle Bradish, on the other hand, every single freaking batter is 1-0 every single time. And I don't get it. But they both get to 2 strikes somehow, and then they can't put it away. And that's been the big difference. I mean, Bradish, he's walked some guys in his career. He's never walked this many. Not this early on. I mean, the dude has always had guys diving out of the zone at that slider, or the sinker up in the zone, chasing it. Like, they're not chasing our pitches at all right now. They're just spitting on it. It's crazy. It's almost laughable. It's laughable at this point.
And the thing is, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure it out in real time on the show, and like, I can't figure this out. If I could figure this out, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd be down at the warehouse. We're not gonna be able to figure out. They're either gonna turn it around or they're not. And like, look, they're 13 and 15. A lot of teams are off to slow starts. Like, did you have the Mets losing 11, 12 straight games
No,
at any point this year? Did you have the Phillies losing 11 straight games at
no.
some point this year? Or the Oakland Athletics being in first place in the AL West? Like, they have a great lineup, but I didn't have them being in first place in the
Yeah.
AL West. I didn't have the Red Sox being so bad that they fire their entire coaching staff, or the Astros being 7 games below 500.
Astros
But
bad.
yeah, and like the Orioles, I look at them and I watch them play, and like I said to my wife, I'm like, I have to just stop thinking they're a good team.
Yeah.
They're not a good team, because good
They're gonna have
teams,
to earn it.
100% they're going to have to
Yeah.
earn it, because good teams don't lose 2 or 3 to the Red Sox
I know.
right now.
Today almost felt like a must win. Like you had to step on their throat when they were down.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mm-hmm.
didn't even come out and try.
Yeah. And,
Like,
and
and
so
I'm saying that it's subjectively. Like, obviously they tried, but I mean, you were there. We both
Yeah.
were in the stadium today. That stadium was quiet. There was
Mm-hmm.
no energy from the fans outside of 15,000 kids who were all on cotton candy. No energy from the fans. No energy from the team. I don't get it. I really don't.
And like I said, it was a pretty packed house. I even had the left field upper reserve open today,
Yeah.
and like in between innings, you can hear all the kids screaming and getting hyped
Yeah.
up. My daughter is 2 years old. She cannot read, okay? But when Get Loud came up, she would yell, "Get loud, let's go!" Oh, it was like the cutest thing I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
entire life. Next to her playing peekaboo with the woman sitting next to us. Um, like the kids were having a great time, and
Yeah.
like somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, the Orioles aren't so bad against lefties. They handled Cantillo and they handled Rodriguez, and like it was really just Merrick." And I was like, they got
Merrick shoved.
he absolutely shoved them. Cantillo, they scored 3 runs on one swing,
Yeah.
and against who was the other lefty whose name I literally just said?
Merrick.
No, not the other one that they did okay against.
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, they scored 3 runs in 2 different games against lefties. That came on 3-run homers. One by Taylor Ward and one by Kobe Mayo.
So
Right?
who told you
was
that they
Bubich.
can hit lefties?
It was Baltimore Minute on Twitter. Baltimore on X.
So they're hitting 162 on the season against lefties with 2 home runs and just 3 runs scored, with
Yep.
23 strikeouts.
Well, those 2 home runs. Well, it can't be 2 home runs, because Gunnar has now 3
Well,
home runs against
this
lefties
isn't.
himself.
Yeah, this doesn't bring in today's game. So this
Okay.
was prior to today. Oh, hold on. You know mine. I had a filter going. Hang on.
Yeah, that couldn't be right, because they hit Gunnar
That
alone.
was the 3 guys that
2.
you and I talked about.
Gotcha.
That's how bad they were. The Orioles are 17th in baseball, hitting 230 with 27 RBIs and 7 home runs with 66 Ks. The good thing is we're not in the top of the with strikeouts. That's great. We're only 13th.
And I think they were like 30th, 29th or 30th against left-handed pitching last year. So it is an
Yeah.
improvement, but that's the thing. It's still not good.
Right.
And yeah, they against Eduardo Rodriguez, Jeremiah Jackson had a 2-run homer, and
Yeah.
that accounted for some runs there. But you've scored 8 runs on 3 swings, and the guy says to me, "What? So because it was on one swing, those runs don't count?" When you don't score in any other innings against those lefties, and you still lose that ball game, because
Right.
they lost all those. They did not lose the game against Bubich, I don't believe, but no, they did. That was game 2. That was game 2 that they lost that game. They lost that game 6-5 in extra innings. You still lost those games against lefties because you scored 3 runs in one inning on 1 home run, and then didn't score against lefties in any other inning. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. And the other problem is Gunnar has 3 home runs against left-handed pitching this year, but Gunnar can't hit lefties. Your
Yeah.
superstar, who is probably going to get a huge contract,
He's not getting it here.
can't hit lefties.
He's not
He
getting it
can't
here.
Yeah. Well, and
Not if Mike Elias is GM, he's not getting it here.
yeah.
And I'm not
It's-
saying it's because the Orioles are going to be cheap, but Mike's going to say like, dude, you don't perform when you need to.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, you can't hit lefties. You're what, a 220 career hitter against lefties.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, your shortstop defense is okay. Okay,
But
like,
yeah,
and I've
he,
defended Gunnar. I've always thought he's like the ball today. Like he gets to the ball, but let's be completely honest with ourselves. Bobby Witt makes that same dive and makes that same throw with ease, and Gunnar fumbles it, and it's just the difference in their careers. Do I think Gunnar? They don't have a shortstop at all in the whole system. They don't have a shortstop, so Gunnar's the guy. That's it.
Well, the what's his name? Wihawa Aloy. How do you pronounce his name?
They don't have a shortstop in the system.
You don't think that guy's a shortstop? I heard he's one of the best shortstops in college baseball last year.
They don't have a shortstop in the system.
Okay.
There's a lot of guys that are great shortstops that move. Aloy might be. He might be someday. Right now, he's not ready, obviously. So they don't have a shortstop in the system to move Gunnar. I'll go back. I'll circle back and say that they don't have a shortstop ready to move Gunnar.
Right.
I think Gunnar would be a great third baseman, just like Machado was. Not as good as Machado, but to make the transition over and be electric. I think Gunnar would do the same thing. I don't know, man. They just don't have anybody else.
Last year, it was end of April, beginning of May. Obviously, they were in a tailspin at that point in the year. Gunnar was not performing. He was striking out in big moments. He looked like he had never. He looked like he wasn't the guy that he is, right?
Yeah.
And I said, like, Gunnar is terrible right now. Like, he's not that dude. Like, he can't hit when in the big moments. He shrinks in the big moments.
You and I talked
then,
about it.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show. And then he hit like 400 with runners in scoring position the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So, like, again,
Well, I remember we talked about it though. We talked about how we expected him to be like really good. He was better than I think we both expected, but then we looked up Bobby's stats and it was like, holy crap. Bobby was like well over 500 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think at the time we were just comparing the two and it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on Gunnar at all, but I mean, like, his defense is fine. I think it's above average for Major League Baseball, but the defense is so bad everywhere else right now that I don't know. Everything just sticks out like a sore thumb. But just some of these balls this year, everything he's doing is just completely rushing. Completely rushing.
Rick Arnold says, I disagree. Gunnar is great. He only had 8 errors last year. Gunnar I think he led baseball in fewest errors and fielding percentage at shortstop last year.
What's crazy though, but his outs above average were kind of like mediocre. So they're basically saying that he doesn't get to some of the balls that some of these other guys do.
I think that Gunnar is a fine shortstop. Do I think he's the best defensive shortstop in the league? No. Am I fine with him playing shortstop for the Baltimore Orioles? Absolutely, especially if he's going to hit. And I think that he is going to hit. I want to say I know, but you're right. He could, fall off course and hit 230 this year.
We said that we know Pete's going to hit. And what's he doing right now?
Exactly. But what are all of them doing right now?
Right.
It's Adley's having a good year, but he spent 10 days on the IL. Ward's having a good year, but he has
I looked
no
something
power.
up today that was kind of interesting. Somebody asked about it. The ERAs between the two catchers, and it shocked me. I mean, going into today, Basallo only had a 3.74 in 14 starts, and Adley had a 4.68 in 13 starts.
Really?
I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. They both had 13 starts. Obviously, Basallo went today. The splits aren't in just yet. They'll be up in the morning. But going into the game, 3.74. And I thought that was interesting.
But keep in mind that Adley was also catching yesterday when Weston Wilson came into pitch and gave up 5 runs after Aiken gave up 5 runs.
True.
Look,
so maybe those splits are
it's if we're in let's wait till like June, I guess, before that. But like, because Adley's ERA as a catcher prior to this year, I think he's always been pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's always been better than everybody else by a good bit.
Yeah.
But what I found was interesting, though, is he had 21 more walks while he was catching. But I think a lot of that is because he's been catching Bassett and Bradish, who've been walking a lot of guys.
Well, and Boz isn't walking a lot of guys, but Boz is getting into a lot of 3-2 counts, right? A lot of 3-ball counts, and that's the thing. I said this to my buddy the other day. Like, Boz's stuff is elite. but he has no idea where it's going.
No, who does on our staff right now?
Yeah,
I
and
I
like
joked
even
around.
when
I was like, it's like baseball changed the balls, and only the Orioles weren't told.
yeah, and Chris Bassett, he had 5 shutout innings in his last start, but he walked 4 guys and struck out 2. That's not a recipe
Right.
for winning baseball games or getting deep in the baseball games. It's just, and it's crazy because we have seen each one of these pitchers dominate
Yeah.
at times in their careers. So it's in there. Bradish is the one that blows my mind the most. Like
Yeah.
Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers doesn't really surprise me so much as it's just like, okay, he's not the dude that we saw last year. He's not this dude either. He's somewhere in the middle. He's a fine pitcher. But like to think that he's the ace of the staff, the stuff isn't there.
Right.
The stuff isn't there for him to be that guy. Bradish, his slider is so filthy. His slider is so filthy, and like he has that makeup to be an ace. It's just, and it's crazy to me because when Boz came back from Tommy John surgery, he really struggled last year. Pitched almost a 5 ERA. Now away from Steinbrenner Field, he was a lot better.
Yeah.
But it was his first full season coming off of Tommy John surgery. This is Kyle Bradish's first full season coming off of Tommy John surgery. But how is he so damn good in those 6 starts last year?
Right.
What happened from those 6 starts last year, aside from the fact that they were in August and September when it was warm and humid, muggy, and you could be you're loose. Bradish has pitched in 75 degrees, he's pitched in 40 degrees, he's pitched in 60 degrees, he's pitched in 48 degrees. Like it's been up and down, but at some point, that's no longer an excuse.
Yeah.
So
Bradish is going to be ranked top 5 in most walks in baseball after today.
Yeah. He
Thankfully, Jack Flaherty's just real bad, but Bradish is right there. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
You got Gavin Williams, Jacob Lopez, Luis Severino, Jack Flaherty, Kyle Bradish, all with 17-plus walks. That's crazy.
Somebody said this. How does Drew French still have a job?
Because some guys are pitching good.
Their bullpen's been really good. The bullpen,
right? And look, that was the biggest team weakness that we talked about all offseason was how these guys just don't have enough or experience basically to really do anything outside of Helsley and Kittredge, and they're pitching well. Wolfram's looked pretty good. Nunez, I mean, this is a converted position player. He's looked pretty good. I mean, but it goes across every coach on the staff. There's a lot of guys that deserve the credit from them, but then there's also these guys that are just duck farting. You got? Can you point the finger at them? I don't know. I really don't know. Who gets the praise and the struggle at the same time? Like, can it be the same? Can it be the same coach?
Right.
Maybe. I don't. That's what I don't get. I mean, Drew's done some really good things. I mean, Nunez is filthy.
Oh, so Rico Garcia is nasty. Nunez is
another
nasty.
guy. I mean, he set franchise records this year from a guy that got cut by 7 teams. Like, that you got to credit Drew French for that. Ryan Helsley, I mean, struggled how bad last year, and he looked outside of a couple walks. He's looked really good so far. Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
My big question, why the hell do we seemingly look worse than the Red Sox as a team who just fired their manager and coaching staff yesterday? Well, because we did that last year. So, like, we're not going to do that again. No, like, here's the thing.
I get what he's saying. We just,
I 100% get it. And it's... I do wonder how much of this is... Well, last year we expected to win, and then when we didn't know how to handle it. Then this year they've revamped. They added these players. They made their pitching to the point where your opening day starter last year was your number 5 this year, and your number 3 last year didn't make your team out of spring training, right? So and you've got Pete Alonso, you've got Taylor Ward. Rutschman looks like he's going to be better. Gunner's shoulder impinges behind him. Basallo's going to be a stud. Beavers is being called Kyle Tucker light. Look at this lineup. We're gonna go out there and do it, and then you don't, and then you get to the point where are they legitimately getting to the point where they're just sitting there and they're like, I don't know what else to do.
100%. 100%.
You know?
Injuries are a factor. They're not a reason. They're a factor. And I only say they're a factor because, like you and I talked about, Gunnar and Pete and Basallo, who are starters and were expected to carry this offense, are poop right now. They're just poop. And I mean, you can blame injuries all you want. Like, yeah, you got to have Blaze Alexander in the lineup. I mean, Jeremiah Jackson, took his starting spot and ran with it. But he was a guy that wasn't expected to play much. Tavares, same thing, took his opportunity, ran with it. But I mean, the guys filling in for the injuries, for the most part, have done more than the big three in the middle of your lineup. So again, a factor, probably more of a factor on defense than they are on offense right now with this team.
Mm-hmm.
But your big boys aren't doing nothing; they're poop. So you got to fix that before you can fix anything else.
Well, and here's the thing: at some point, most seasons, and I'll say, 2022, 2023, 2024. Because in 2023, they didn't get off to the greatest start, but they ended up winning 101 games. 2022, they had a 10-game winning streak in the middle of the season. You see glimpses, right? Yeah. And not just in one game. You see them in back-to-back games where it's like, oh, these three guys are all getting hot kind of at the same time. Or this starting pitcher looks really good right now. Or the bullpen's been like, you see these little glimpses where you're like, this team's about to go on a run.
Right.
They're about to go on a run. I have not seen a single thing with any kind of consistency that leads me to believe that this team's going to go on a run. Do I think that they can and that they will? I have to believe that because they have too much freaking talent on the roster to not go on a run. I mean, what are the chances that every pitcher in the rotation has their head up their ass? What are the chances that Pete Alonso and Gunnar aren't hitting at the same time?
For 30 games. For 30 games.
For 30 games, right? And yeah, Gunnar has 9 home runs, but if it's like he has a home run or a single, or he's striking out every other time.
Yeah.
Or popping out trying to hit a home run. Like Alonso
hit a ball today, 104 off the bat, and we only went 340 feet.
Mm-hmm. That was a ball that everybody thought that he got, and as soon as he hit it off, and also because of where we're sitting, I'm like, that ball's caught.
Yeah, 104 miles an hour, went 340 feet.
Now, it's
crazy.
Also, it's the ball.
He had 35-degree launch angle. It's like, come on, man.
Like,
oh, goodness.
And that's the other thing. Alonso's going to hit. People try to tell me, oh, we got off to a slow start last year. No, he didn't. Do you guys remember when they came to Baltimore in June and Alonso was hitting like 309 with like 18 home runs and 70 RBIs, something crazy? Like, he did not get off to a slow start last year. He's gotten off to slow starts in his
career, yeah.
He has. And so
not
that's
this
the thing,
slow,
like,
but
he had a year where he hit 2 home runs in April. I was looking it up. He had a year where
he hit like 220 or 230 though.
Yeah,
that year.
That was
better than 200.
It was a couple of years ago. I think he still ended up hitting 42 home runs that year, and he hit like 248, something like that.
Yeah.
But what if we get to June and he's still not hitting? I mean, it's almost May. It's almost May, and he's still not hitting.
These fans will burn his jersey quick.
Oh my gosh. May 12th, 2023, Gunnar finished that game hitting 170. He went on to hit 258, 28 homers, and was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
It
can happen, and it should happen, but at this point, like you said earlier, like we got to start believing it just might not until they prove it.
Right.
We can talk it into existence all we want. It hasn't worked yet.
Kalzer's got to go to Norfolk. Kalzer has got to go to Norfolk. Look, I don't care that he has 3 hits in his last 2 games. The hit today shouldn't have been a hit. And the other 2 hits, okay, fine.
I'll give him his credit, though, because the team has stunk. They got beat by 17-1. No one was showing emotion, and he hustled. He could have dogged that and got out, but he hustled. Yeah. I mean, he is usually the guy that will hustle most of the time, more than anybody else.
And again, I don't think that he's a lazy baseball player, and he's a good outfielder, and he's got a strong arm. He does have light tower power. Can't hit anything other than the fastball. He's got to go down and to Norfolk and start hitting down there and get confidence. Be like, oh yeah, this is who I am. Because right now, him trying to figure out the major league level, it ain't working. It ain't working. And we can't have Blaze starting 5 days a week. He can't.
Yeah.
He can't. But again, you don't have Westbrook. You don't have Jackson Holiday. And then you're still dependent on Kobe Mayo, who is a young player still trying to figure it out. Although that time is coming fast. But he's been swinging a lot better recently. Dylan Beavers, young player in his rookie year, trying to figure it out. Basallo, my God, man, I think Basallo may have figured it out. He's not missing anything right now. He did strike out in his final at bat today, but even the out that he made before that, he smoked that ball right at the was that the second baseman?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're depending on young players that are very.
We have been for years, though,
and we have been for years.
Yeah.
How long do you think they look at Texas back in 2023? In May, their bullpen wasn't good enough, so they traded for Aroldis Chapman.
Mm-hmm.
Can the Orioles afford do they have the luxury of waiting to the deadline to make something happen? Should they be like
Texas did? I mean, if you think about it, Texas was around a 500 ball club, and they barely squeaked into the playoffs. Didn't? No, they won 90 games, right?
No,
was it Texas I'm thinking of that was around 500 around the break?
Texas was 18 games below 500 or 12 games. They were something crazy from the trade deadline on. They were well below 500 from the trade deadline on.
Yeah.
And they snuck into the playoffs and then went on and then got hot and went on to the World Series. While you're figuring that out, I just want to do another read here because we are way behind on those.
Mm-hmm.
Today's show also brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with AJ Przynski, Jeremy Guthrie, AQ Shipley, and more, you can find them in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on PressBox Facebook and YouTube pages. I want to say something real quick. I went off on that viewer at the beginning of the show. Look, man, I don't want to do that. I don't it happened to be that I saw that comment in the middle of me already being heated about this team. I don't don't come on my show and tell me that I'm just saying things. There's a reason that I have this show. All right, I want people to come and I want people to be interactive, but I snap like that because I have to deal with that on X all the time. I'm not gonna make shit up on this show to just to say something. I'm not going to do that, but I do also want to apologize for flying off the handle like that because it was just poor timing for both of it. And I don't want people to think, oh, we can't say anything to Paul because he's going to lose his mind. So I'm sorry for flipping out like that. There's a reason that I have this show, and I'm not going to sit here and make stuff up just for content. I don't do that. So this was something I noticed. If Pete Alonso has always had that twitch in his swing, okay, I'm not a Mets fan, so I haven't watched him his entire career. It was something I saw, and I'm like, I feel like he's trying to keep that, because when I'm trying to keep my back shoulder where I want it, I do that sometimes. I'll lean back on my back foot. Sometimes I feel like I'm lunging too much, and I thought maybe he was doing the same thing. So anyway, sorry for flipping out. Let's just keep it cool here. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it cool. Anyway, yeah, it's the whole thing's just frustrating watching this team. They should be better than they are. The lineup also, it's you have all of your heavy hitters at the very top, and then you get to the bottom, and it's Jeremiah Jackson doesn't walk, and I like Jeremiah Jackson, and when he gets hot, he showed he can carry a team.
Yeah.
But he's, if you look up his numbers, I feel like he's probably something 2 for his last 15.
Yeah, he's been struggling real bad.
And he's not getting on base. Blaze doesn't hit and Blaze doesn't get on base. Cowser doesn't hit. He hasn't been walking either. So now it's at what point is it all right, well, Enrique Bradfield can come up here and play really great defense. Oh, he got hurt?
Mm-hmm.
How did he get hurt?
Ran into the fence.
Again?
I think so.
With the wrist?
Yeah.
The same thing?
I'm not sure. It just said 7-day DL. IL, sorry. I'll look it up to confirm. But yeah, I think it just happened today or yesterday.
Oh man, of course he is, because I'm championing for him to be on. To be on to
7-day left hand discomfort after colliding with the fence. So that was from Rock yesterday.
That's the second time.
Yeah.
That's the second time this year that he's had to miss games because he ran into the fence and hurt himself.
Yeah.
Did he at least catch the ball?
I don't know if he ran into it again. I think it's just a recurring thing, and he went back on the IL. Because before he didn't go in an IL, he just sat out a couple games.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I knew that. I remember seeing him not in the lineup for like 5 days in a row, and I was like, "What's going on here?" And then somebody let me know what was going on. But you need to get Westbrook back. Do you think Westbrook's coming back? Like, how many position players have we seen
They might force him back.
Right. And at this point, but that's the other thing. Adley and Basallo are both hidden, so it's not like you can DH him. Would you play Westbrook at second base over Jeremiah Jackson? I think you absolutely have to.
This is what I was trying to maybe hint at earlier. If he can make a throw from second base, because you got to remember, you still got to turn some double plays. It's not like you can just lollipop it over there all the time.
Right.
If you can make that double throw from second base, do you finish the season with Holiday at shortstop and Gunnar at third to make the room?
I think that but then what are you doing with Mayo? Because Mayo's starting to hit.
Is Mayo better than Gunnar Henderson?
No, but is Jackson Holiday a better shortstop than Gunnar Henderson?
No, he's not. But
and
that's
Jackson
the only way it's going to make it work.
Jackson can't even swing a bat without discomfort right now, and it's been 2.5 months since he had that surgery.
It's going to be a little bit about 2 more months. That's just how that surgery is.
So, and at that point, is he your saving grace? Like
if you had to do it, would you do it?
If you get to a point in the season where it's like, look, Westbrook can swing. We think his arm's gonna be okay, but we want to keep things cool with him. We're gonna play him at second base. We're gonna and Holiday is on a rehab assignment and he's tearing the cover off the ball, and then he comes up and. But here's the thing. Would I do it? Sure. Would you do it? Sure. Will the Orioles do it? Probably not.
Because to me, you get better at two positions. Now you get a little probably. I would say Jackson's probably definitely worse than Gunnar at shortstop, but Gunnar at third is, I would say, really good. Westbrook at second is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Because if you don't, right, you don't know what you're getting out of Holiday at second yet, because we haven't seen it just yet. He's been okay. And then you have Westbrook, who can't make a throw really from third. Like now your defense really gets bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like if Jeremiah Jackson's still here, I think Westbrook's playing second base regardless if it's between him and Jackson. But then Jackson can spell it at second. He can spell it at he can spell at third. He can spell in the outfield if you need him to.
To me, if Westbrook and Holiday are both finally healthy, Jeremiah Jackson's not here.
Yeah, after the start that he's had to this year, you still don't think he's here?
Jorge Mateo did that in 2023.
That's true.
We hit 7 home runs, 7 home runs, hit 340 that month.
Yeah.
15 RBIs.
Yeah, he had 6 home runs and hit 340 the first month of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hit 1 home run the rest of the year, and it was inside the Parker.
Mm-hmm. And he hit about 170.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jeremiah Jackson's going to do that, but if you have your full squad, like, and he's got options, it's not like you're cutting him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see how you keep everybody.
Yeah.
Now they have to be 1,000% healthy, which we just haven't seen in God knows how long. But to me, if Jordan Westbrook could get hurt at any moment, I'd rather have Jeremiah Jackson back down in Norfolk with consistent at bats than sitting on the bench for 5-6 days and then coming back, getting one game in, and then back on the bench for 3-4 more games, and then coming back in. Like that's not going to do the team any good. I'd rather him just hit every day.
Do you agree with statements like this?
It's possible. I mean, think about it. If he comes back June 1st, the season was decided last year by June 1st.
Yeah, but by this time last year, they were 7-8 games below 500, right?
Yeah. I mean, just saying, we don't know when Westbrook's coming back. We think it's June. But, if Westbrook came back August 28th, yeah, season's probably decided by then. So you could take it either way. Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. If it's not till August 28th, he's having Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
Right? If he's not coming back by June, like, if he's throwing and there's still a lot of discomfort there, yes, please hit like and subscribe if you were on at Pigtown Sports Chat. I don't have a chat. I don't have a Twitch or anything like that. But if you guys are watching on there, hit like and subscribe. Zach obviously knows what he's talking about. He's great. So please continue to hit like and subscribe to Zach. And for this show too, because we want to have people interacting with us. The thing with Westberg, if he's still throwing with discomfort by the end of May, beginning of June, he's gonna have Tommy John surgery. That's what's gonna happen. I have higher hopes for it simply because of the fact that how many position players have dealt with that. And you look at Anthony Santander, he spent his entire career with the Orioles, and he still has never had to have Tommy John surgery. So it's a position player. It's different with Tommy John surgery. So there goes my middle screen. My middle screen just likes to cut out in the middle of shows sometimes. So, dude, I have like an elite setup here, and yet the whole thing falls apart on me pretty frequently.
It's the dock. Get a new dock.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think
Make
you're absolutely
the company
right.
pay for it.
I'm gonna just go.
But yeah, I just they put a lot of eggs in a lot of baskets. A lot of young guys' eggs every year. A lot of injury eggs every year. It gets kind of exhausting. Like we get excited about young guys. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like with Bradfield come here, we'd all be really excited. But like you're just going right back down the same rabbit hole of relying on a young guy. Now, I think his game brings a little bit more chaos than some of these other guys because these other guys we just kind of count on just being pure hitters, where he can just kind of do everything, play really good defense, probably outstanding defense. Speed on the base pass. Which, speaking of, we don't run
At all.
It's like they're afraid to run into an out. Dude, create some chaos. Who cares if you run into an out? You're not scoring anyway. Go try something different. Maybe a guy throws the ball into center field, and then you can go over to third base with less than 2 outs. And then maybe a guy hits a sacrifice fly or something. Crazy shit happens. Look at our guys. They throw the ball in center field quite often. Like, it happens. I would love to see them do something different.
Well, but the other thing is that Gunnar gets picked off twice in the same game.
Yes.
Right? And it was a game that the Orioles ended up winning, but he gets picked off twice in the same game, and they wouldn't have had to go to extra innings for them to win that game if that hadn't happened. So it's legitimately like maybe they want to run, and these guys can't be trusted. I don't know,
It's possible.
man.
It's possible.
And also, when people talk about Jeremiah Jackson, like, oh, you've got good speed on the base with Jeremiah. Jeremiah Jackson's not fast.
No, he's not fast.
He's not fast. Like, legitimately, the two fastest players on your team are Jordan Westberg. Two of the fastest players, Jordan Westberg, Jackson Holliday. They're hurt.
Beavers.
Gunnar Beavers is fast. Is he getting on base enough? Somebody said this. Garrett Cole will make his debut against the Orioles.
I don't care.
Like,
it's Garrett Cole now. Cool. Like he might do really well, but he's what, 38?
37, 36, 37, I think.
Yeah, I mean, coming off 2 different arm injuries, like, they're not hitting anybody, so it doesn't really matter. But like, oh, he's only 35. Wow, I thought he was a lot older than that.
Yeah, I thought he was young because it was like 6 years ago. He was still in his 20s when he was pitching for the Astros.
I thought he was like close to 40. Jesus.
No, I mean, to me, he still seems like he's young, but.
Either way, I don't care. I mean, they're not hitting guys that they should hit. So, I mean, am I going to expect them to hit Garrett Cole? Probably not.
No. I think you saw this. Luis Hill got sent to the minors today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he gave up 2 home runs to the Astros and has like a 6 ERA on the season.
And Rick, you're right. Gunnar is very fast, and Gunnar likes to run. I think that
Gunner's quick, but I think Westberg and Beavers in the sprint speed per 30 foot or whatever the hell they track that. He's like 4th behind Holiday, Beavers, and Westberg.
Yeah, Holiday's just such a bad base runner.
Yeah, first step terrible. First step in the infield is pretty bad too sometimes.
Yeah. Trevor Bauer threw a no-hitter today in Lancaster. Does that count? Isn't that like independent ball?
Independent ball, yeah.
Yeah.
That's facing like guys that hit 240 in college, 250.
Orioles seasons always seem to always depend on player projects or reclamations. I don't know that you're
Kind
looking
of.
for, but are you really looking for well, yeah, the player projects because I don't look at prospects as projects. They're prospects, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's as a project. And a project and a reclamation in my mind are kind of the same thing. And who have they really tried to have a reclamation here? Like I don't know. I think that they've tried to put too much on young players that are inexperienced. And but the thing is, they brought in the veterans this year. They brought in Alonso. They brought in Bassett. They brought in Ward. And the other
Tyler
thing
O'Neill
is,
too. I mean, he's played on good teams.
yeah, but Tyler O'Neill, man, like, did you just cut him and eat the contract at this point? He is giving you.
Isn't he hitting?
No,
No.
I looked up. He was hitting 229 today.
What's better than half the team?
Oh, that's true.
He's
But
216 right now.
Yeah, and he's got one home run. Like he was
Yeah.
brought in here to be a right-handed power bat and hit left-handed pitching. He had 3 strikeouts against left-handed pitching today. I think he's hitting like 150 this year against lefties. And after hitting
this is weird. AI, when I Googled him, it says 216, but Baseball Reference, and maybe because today he went over, I don't know, Baseball Reference has him as 242.
Baseball Reference doesn't update till 6 a.m.
Yeah, okay.
tomorrow. Yeah,
So
they
he dropped that much? I guess he's only got 38 plate appearances. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's crazy to me, like, that they bring in all these guys and they all, like, what is it about you feel cursed, right? They come here and they all fail. Morton was okay in 2024. He had like a 4.12 ERA. Comes over here and falls off the face of the planet. You know, Tomoyuki Sagano, he'd never pitched in the majors. He had just won the Cy Young Award over in the Japanese League the year before. He comes over here, has a few good starts, falls off a cliff. You bring over Tyler O'Neill, hit 31 home runs in 113 games for the Red Sox. He hits, 9 home runs last year and hit like 199. Something like, and got 50 games in. You bring over Pete Alonso, he's off to one of the worst starts of his career. Why Chris Bassett can't seem to throw strikes. Shane Baz can't seem to throw strikes. Kyle Bradish can't stop getting into 3-2 counts. Trevor Rogers can't put away guys with 2 strikes. Why is it that these guys who are capable of doing these things, they come to the Orioles and all of a sudden they can't do it? What is it about this team?
Literally what I asked. I mean, somebody just said, how close are we to the players that we drafted? I think it was ST3V. How close are we to the players that we drafted and developed who just aren't good or what we thought territory, or are we already there? This is what I asked this question too, because I don't know. These aren't the Orioles that are hyping these guys up. This is Baseball America. This is MLB.com. This is MILB.com. Telling us that we have these prospects that are freaking good. Better than almost everybody else's prospects in baseball, right? Multiple guys in the top 100. It's very hard to get in the top 100. Multiple guys. They get here and they just don't transition. But then you have these other teams that have these guys that don't make the top 100, and all of a sudden they're flourishing. Why? Like, what is it to where you can develop these guys to be considered great players by multiple publications around the league, and then they get here and just can't make that next step? That's what I want. That's what I need answered. Because this team, when you look at these publications, should be freaking good. Should be steamrolling teams for the last couple of years. And they're not. We need to figure out that why. Is it a developmental issue? I don't know. I can't answer that because they're being developed into these players that these publications think are really freaking good. And then they just get here and then they're just not. That's what I don't get. And none of us are going to have an answer for it because we're just not.
Yeah.
The Orioles are the only ones that got to figure that out.
Well, and that's the other thing is, like, I'm sure that there's something for scouting mental makeup. You know, how mentally tough are some of these guys? How mentally tough is Colton Cowser?
It's a hard thing to scout.
Right. How mentally tough is Gunnar Henderson? You know, like, and are they kind of like, are they kids? Look at their hobbies. Look at the things that they're into. Are they kids?
Yeah.
Are they? And I'm not trying to like. And this is important. Okay, I wanna go up. I just saw this comment a minute ago. Somebody said this. Steven Schenk. Boz only 5 starts in. I'm not sold one way or the other. Too early. It's
I think
April
it's
20.
fair.
It's April 26th, right? So
Yeah.
like, none of these guys. It's too early to say. And I started to ask you about this earlier when I said, do you? By the time Westberg comes back, the season will already be decided. If Westberg comes back at the end of May, the season's not already decided unless you really
We
think that
hope
this
not.
team, right? Unless you think this team is suddenly going to just lose 10 games in a row,
Yeah.
right? I don't think that they're that bad to lose that many games in a row. So, like, I want to be careful about saying Alonso's not going to hit. Gunner Gunner is going to have his worst year, but average wise, not base percentage wise. This guy's not going to do this. Boz isn't going to figure it out. Bassett's not going to figure it out because it's April, and we could get to June and it could have a huge month because everybody finally figured it out. You
Yeah.
know, it's too early. But the baseball that we're watching is uninspiring baseball.
Yeah.
And what's really uninspiring is when they do play inspiring baseball and they come back from down 6 runs in the 6th inning and they win a baseball game. They come back from being no hit into the 9th inning to almost win a baseball game. They have 1 hit going into the 9th inning and they win that game. When they have these wins that they shouldn't have, they hit 6 home runs and 20 hits in a game, and then they fall flat on their face the next 2 days. That's not inspiring baseball. That's what the hell did you take from those other games to build momentum?
100%.
This team it just is so terrible at building momentum. Our starting pitching is terrible at minimizing damage. How many times do you see an error or a mental miscue, and then the wheels fall off
Yeah.
for the pitcher?
Well, we saw it today. We saw it today.
100%
I mean,
saw it today.
Bradish just, should have been a double play, should have been out of the inning, and it wasn't. And the next pitch is a home run. Let me shout out Adam here for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. It says championship window is closed until Elias is gone. I don't know what to think anymore, to be completely honest with you. I've been an Elias guy for a good bit. I'm not saying that I'm not right now, but I can't answer my own question that we just talked about a couple minutes ago. Is why can't guys take that step?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I don't get.
And that's an Elias issue.
It might be.
Because the people that you have in your organization developing these players, it's a development thing, right? That's
well,
what
they're
it comes
developing
down
to the point to get here faster than almost every other team in baseball.
Mm-hmm. But then that also contradicts everything that Elias said. That we're not going to rush guys here. We're going to let them spend ample time at these levels, and then all of a sudden you see guys getting here, and I don't know, man. I think it's a development issue because, again, that gap from AAA to the majors. But here's the other thing, and we've said it multiple times, even on tonight's show. You're depending on these guys so much that they don't have the opportunity to ease into their role.
Yeah.
To kind of play baseball almost as if they're on the back burner, right? Because you have these other superstars. You're saying, I mean, Basallo gets called up and within 5 days has the first contract extension of the Mike Elias era, right? Then Shane Boz has this extension. And, Shane Boz has been in the league a while, but, you aren't giving these guys the runway to just become who they're supposed to be. You're having them come up here and hoping that they are who they're going to become already.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to bring in those veterans. And then you bring in Pete Alonso, and that's why I also think that it really is hurting this team more than just the box score says that Alonso's not hitting, because he's supposed to be that veteran presence. And so if he's not hitting, it's making it that much harder on these young guys that you're putting all this pressure on.
Yeah.
Baseball, just like all sports, is this crazy. The mental aspect of it is just as important as your physical abilities and tools. The mental game, and I think for me, I think it's got to be a mental issue at this point.
Maybe.
I
Yeah,
think
because
it's got to
somebody
be.
said Connor Griffin came up and didn't have an issue. I mean,
He was
listen,
in 150 10 games into his career this year, so I'm not.
it's going to take a
Right.
19, 20-year-old guy a lot of time, but he does look good. I don't think there's any question about that. I think he looks very good. And
Yeah.
I think we all know he is going to hit in this league.
Oh, 100%.
But I mean, listen, the same guys that listed Connor Griffin as the best player in baseball, these same guys that put McConaughey number 2, these same guys that had J.J. Weatherholt number 3, or not number 3, but like top 5, like all 3 of those guys are freaking hitting. Mm-hmm. These same guys put Kobe Mayo as a top 10 player, as Samuel Basallo as a top 10 player. It has to be. It's not a developmental issue. It's not, because we're getting them to this point where everybody recognizes how good they are. It's something. It's that jump that they're just not figuring out. And maybe it is the lineup changes all the time, the lefty-righty splits, the analytics. I don't know. I really don't. But that's the question we need to figure out quickly, because it's working for everybody else.
And I think that there's something to that. Like, if you have big plans for Beavers, play him in right field every day.
Every day.
Every day. You start him against the lefty today.
Yeah.
You know, just keep doing it. Keep playing him. You know, if Kobe Mayo, 4 games in a row, he has 3 home run. He has a home run 3 games in a row. In the 4th game, he has a double. He has a hard line out. He's been tearing the cover off the ball for the last 10 days, making loud outs, and then finally they start going out. The ball start going out of the ballpark. Why give him the day off today? Start him at third base and get that extra thump in your lineup. Mm-hmm. Just play these guys every day until they prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they just can't handle it. You're and look, they're seeing more of these guys than we are. They obviously are running this organization, but I can't imagine that Craig Alvarez is sitting there and saying, you know, it's really good for these guys' developments to not play them against left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. Today's show brought to you by the latest edition of Press Box, which is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine looks at what will be different at the 2026 Preakness at Laurel and the future of the race when it moves back to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson looks at what Trey Hendrickson brings to the Ravens and much more. But be on the lookout for the new print issue for free at your Baltimore area High's dairy stores, and also read it at PressBoxOnline.com. Today's show also brought to you by Warnkin Law. When you need results in Baltimore, you don't play small ball. If you've been hurt in a crash, call 443-RESULTS or visit warnkinlaw.com. That's 443-RESULTS or visit warnkinlaw.com. I can't put that comment up there, but you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah. The exactly Paul one?
Yeah. We need realignment and Mike Rizzo now. Is Mike Rizzo that great of a GM that people keep saying this to me?
I like the dude from the Dodgers, but it's just me. There's like a guy who's like number 3 in command I think would be really great here. Number 2 in command, who I also want. I think he went elsewhere this offseason, but yeah, the guy number 3 I really like. I don't know, man. I just don't. Something's off. I think we can all agree with that. The pitching is off. Mm-hmm. We watched all these guys pitch fairly well last year, but now this year you've got different guys that are performing pretty well, and the guys that you were trying to lean on not doing it very so well. Could you blame Mike for that? Maybe. I mean, could they have brought other guys in? Like Framber's done decent, you know, not above average, decent, yeah. Ranger, nothing so far, you know. Verlander, I haven't even looked at his stats to be completely honest with you, but you didn't expect your top 2 guys to falter a little bit after opening day.
I
don't think anybody did.
Verlander got hurt because he had 1 start. I think he gave up 5 runs in like 3 innings. His ERA is 12.27, 1 strikeout. I think I remember hearing that he got hurt.
Gotcha.
Because he is hurt now. What happened here?
Marty asked, do we think Alvarez makes the lineups? And if he doesn't, is that normal? No, it's not normal, and no, I don't think he makes them.
I cannot believe for a second after what we saw with Weston Wilson, Blaze Alexander, and who was the other guy? Was it Beavers? Jonathan Rodriguez playing the outfield in a game that you're trying to win a series. There's no way that Craig
They all got
Alvarez
pinch
has
hit for, but like the fifth inning, did they, or sixth
yeah,
inning? Yeah.
yeah,
Craig's not making a lineup to bring guys out of there after 2 at bats.
yeah. That was the first time I was like, you know what? I don't think that the manager makes lineups here because
Yeah.
I always believed that the manager had the final say on the lineup. I don't think there's any chance Craig Alvarez makes that lineup.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm trying to see. Uh, O's fan KY said Mayo should have been and Pete should have sat. Pete Alonso they're not sitting him.
No.
And I'll give you 155 million reasons that they're not sitting him in favor of Kobe Mayo. Now, does he need a day off every now and again? Maybe, but this is a guy who plays 160 games a year. So they're very few and very, very far between.
Yeah.
Jackson, this is a great question. I want to get your take on this. Here's the thought: do we shield our prospects from the things they struggle with, and then they get exploited in the big leagues? People who make those prospect lists also might not see the issues.
It's a fair point.
Like how many times have we seen left-handed hitters sit against left-handed pitching in the minors and then they sit again in the majors?
I mean, there's not a ton, but I remember looking at it last year. The Mayo's minor league splits at one time I looked at was like less than 100 at bats versus lefties. Like it was incredible. Let me see if I can find it. Minor league stats, splits. No, it's not going to show it. But either way, but I remember looking at it. It was like Basallo was like less than 100. Beavers was like less than 100. Mayo was less than 100. Am I really convinced that there's not that many lefties in AAA? I don't think that's that possible. So maybe they do get the night off sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes, it would make a lot of sense. If they are doing that, then yes, they are getting exploited in the big leagues. They're just not getting enough at bats.
I just don't think it's like I've always hated platooning. And people in old heads in Baltimore are obsessed with talking about Gary Renicky and John Lowenstein and how good of a platoon. Like, name a really good baseball team that has a platoon at any position. And like you could say
the only
Dodgers,
time I could understand it is like Rob Refsnyder, the dude who hits like 600 against lefties and like 20 home runs a year. Mm-hmm. Then I get it. That's what Tyler Renier was supposed to be. It just hasn't worked out. Why? I don't know. But I mean, that I understand. You know, somebody who just annihilates lefties. Then I get it. But like, we don't have anybody that annihilates lefties. We've tried several times. Just nobody's doing it. We don't really have one person that annihilates righties. Cowser annihilates fastballs, but they just don't throw them those anymore.
Yeah. Why would
but
they?
This day and age, like it's just, I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, look at somebody like Jackson Merrill. Yeah, I know he's my cousin. I get that. But guess
Jackson Merrill's your cousin? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like first cousin, second cousin, third cousin?
I don't know how you do it. His grandfather is my mom's brother.
That's cool.
Yeah. But he hits lefties very well. Why? Because he's in there every single night. They didn't sugarcoat it on him. They just let him go out there and hit. Why? Because you're putting your best player on the field. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if the Orioles do that. I just don't know.
And here's the thing. And I understand if you're a right-handed hitter, you're going to face way more righties, and they're not going to bench you when you're playing righties because there's so many more righties than lefties. But like if a right-handed hitter can hit right-handed pitching, why can't a left-handed hitter hit left-handed pitching?
Oh, I mean, Jackson's not amazing in his career. He's 240 with a 655 OPS. It's not great, but he's better than the next guy, more than likely in their team. Like, so he's not sitting, and he's going to get better. Like, I don't get it personally. Like Jackson Holiday, let's sit him against a couple lefties once in a while. We'll play Westberg at second base. How's he getting any better? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. In October, are you sitting? If you made it to October, right? Well, this is a hypothetical here. Hypothetical.
Very
Jackson
clearly.
Holiday was maybe hitting 280 or something like that, and you're facing Garrett Crochet game one. You're going to sit Jackson Holiday game one of a playoff series because Westberg might hit a little bit better, and that way maybe we could get like Jeremiah Jackson or Blaze Alexander at third. No, you put your best freaking 9 on the field. Let them figure it out.
And I just don't know how many other teams are doing this. Every team uses analytics, but I think that the Orioles are one of those teams that they go over the top with. There is no reason that in today's lineup, Leota Tavares wasn't playing center field, and Kobe Mayo wasn't playing third base. There's no reason for that. They've been two of your hottest hitters.
He's a switch hitter. What was that about? Like we both agree that Dylan Beavers should play every day. We agree with that. So yeah, you got to get him in the lineup. Okay, that's fine. But then you sat a switch hitter. Who's hitting? I'm dumbfounded.
Right. Right.
Dumbfounded. But you did pay Tyler O'Neill to come hit lefties, right? So I understand. I understand it. Like, dude, it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't kind of thing.
I'm just at a point out where you just cut Tyler O'Neill. Like, I would just cut him, or trade him for what you can get for him. You know, like I'm.
You know, as soon as they do that, he's going to go off.
Oh, he's absolutely going to go off. I expect everybody that leaves this organization to go someplace else and go off. This isn't like, and it's the exact opposite with our football team. Ravens players that come to play for the Baltimore Ravens, they have either career renaissances or the best years of their careers. They go elsewhere and they suck. They just suck. You know? But here, you have players that are terrible here. They go elsewhere and they become. Jake Arrieta became a Cy Young Award winner and threw two no-hitters after he got out of here. Kyle Stowers went from being a guy who couldn't get on the field against lefties to being an all-star and hitting 25 home runs last year. Like, I expect Heston Kjerstad to get traded at some point and be a 30-homer guy for, like, the Houston Astros. And I fully expect Tyler O'Neill to get DFA'd or traded, go play for the Cleveland Guardians, hit 20 home runs the rest of the year if that happens. You know, like...
I wouldn't be shocked.
That's just how it goes. Told my wife I'd try to be done by 10 today. So today's show has been brought to you by County Sports Zone. We're well into spring sports season at the high school level. And remember that all year long you can find scores, schedules, and updates for every sport in every school all throughout the state at County Sports Zone. County Sports Zone is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Anything you want to add before we get out of here today, man?
Hang with him, I guess.
Well, what choice do we have, right?
Yeah, hang with him.
We can, and I love this.
It's not as bad as last year. Not as bad as last year.
Now I feel really bad about going off on this guy because he's had great comments on
ball.
Yeah, he's had great comments on that. The Ravens have a culture where I think you walk in and you feel that the Orioles certainly don't do that. Like, they have great vibes amongst the players, but like, what is the culture that this team has?
I think they're trying to figure it out. I don't think they know.
Like,
I think they really lean on Pete, and I think they really lean on Chris Bassett. But they don't know. They're not. They didn't bring a culture here. They just good ball players who can make you do the little things right. Apparently, and they've put the work in. Pete's defense has been really good. He's put the work in. Right, he's been what we've asked him to do outside of what he's done in the box, everywhere on the field. I just don't think the rest of the team knows what they want to do and who they want to be.
Do you think that the struggles of the starting pitchers has anything to do with the catching?
It's crossed my mind several times.
You know,
pitch calling, particularly.
Pitch calling. Are they still doing the thing where they place the glove in the middle of the plate?
Yes.
Or do you agree?
That's been a problem for years.
And you don't agree with that philosophy?
No, none.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. Never. No, it didn't make any sense.
Throw the ball in the middle and let's hope it hits the corners. Well, right. What happens when it doesn't hit the corners? Then you give up 8 hits with 0-2 counts. That's dead in the middle. But what are we doing?
Trevor Rogers,
and that's not a singly thing because the Marlins didn't do that.
So I don't know, man. The thing is, and I'll close with.
And
this.
I can also say, I played under the old catching coach, Tim Cossins. That wasn't taught at the Marlins either. So That's two different catching coaches, and the same shit's been happening. So,
The, there's too many guys on this team to have track records. Too many guys that have a lot of skill. And I'm specifically talking like Alonso. He's going to hit. He's going to hit. Gunner is gonna start hitting for better average. He's gonna turn it around. Some of these other guys like Mayo and Basallo and Beavers, I think that their bats are starting to come on. The starting rotation, there's too many guys that have done too much in this league for me to think and have too much ability for me to think that this is going to continue. Shane Baz for me, honestly, I believe in his stuff, but he's the one I question the most because I feel like anytime he throws a fastball, he has no clue where he is. And you talked about this.
I feel like he spins off a lot.
Yeah, like, and I also feel like it's an easy 99 from him. He doesn't do much. But, like, and that ball just zips in there. But, like, he misses with his fastball by a wide margin. I'm talking, like out here, he'll miss with his fastball. So, like, if you don't know where your fastball is going, I mean, why are guys gonna swing at your pitches?
Yeah.
You know, like, I've got to see him locate that fastball before I believe in him. Really have to see him locate that fastball before I believe in him.
Yeah.
You know, because Bradish, I've seen it. I know it's there. Rogers, I don't think that what he did last year is I think he got hot and rode a wave. But I think he's better than what he's shown. He's obviously getting ahead of guys. He's just got to put them away. Bradish has got to start getting ahead of guys again. Bassett's going to figure it out because he's Chris Bassett. And Dean Kramer is going to be Dean Kramer. He's going to look really good sometimes. He's going to look really bad sometimes, and he's going to end the season with a 4 something, with like a low 4s ERA. He's going to be Dean Kramer.
Yeah.
Baz, until I see him start locating that fastball with consistency, I have no idea what the hell he's going to be, what his ceiling is for this ball club.
Yeah.
So, but I do believe that these guys will round back into form. I think you're going to see no starter has gotten hot. Like, no starting pitcher in this rotation has gone out there, aside from Rogers on opening day, has gone out there in the last couple of weeks and just thrown a 7-inning ball game, giving up 2 runs. I think once you see one guy do that, and then you see another guy do that, and they start feeding off each other, and they start I think that the rotation will round into form. The bullpen's been solid. The offense is going to get better. Hopefully, we get some guys back. They're going to play better baseball. But right now, the way they're currently constructed, they're playing just uninspiring, and at times like games you don't want to watch. Like I find myself wanting to turn something else on because they look lifeless.
Yeah.
A lot this year. You know, today's show has been brought to you by Leading Edge Auto Body. Your car is more than just a ride; it's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, customer satisfaction comes first. Their team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. And they make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery. Find out more at leadingedautobody.com. That's leadingedautobody.com. We're going to get out of here for tonight. 3-3 week, but it feels a lot worse.
I'll leave you with one thing.
Yeah.
We've thrown the 8th most balls with a fastball this year.
Yeah.
35% of the fastballs they throw are called a ball. The 8th most in baseball.
Yeah.
Can't locate a fastball, you can't get guys out.
100%. Fastball is the most important pitch in baseball, and they're struggling to throw it with any kind of consistency. And it's obvious. Our pitchers don't seem. It feels like most of our pitchers don't get ahead, and then when they do, they can't put them away. So that's going to do it for us here on the Bat Around. Zach, thank you as always for hopping on the show with us. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, viewers, sponsors. Without you, we do not have a show. Until next week,